Yo, what is going on, guys? Aspect Gaming back once again in GTNH, and today I have two primary goals. Number one is in this northeast area for universals. We're going to make two universal precise auto assemblers, also known as presses from here on out. And I'm going to be making these with the imprecise casings for now because they're cheaper by a long shot, but we can almost do this. There's just a couple problems. The main one being the aluminum, to be honest, and the signalium is a big bottleneck. So we'll get to that soon, because there's also things I need those upgraded casings for. But for now, we're going to make the regular ones. The second priority is blood magic progression. So this is going to go in the back burner for a bit, because I just want to focus on auto crafting at the moment, because I have some really good ideas for it. So we're going to get to this later in the episode, possibly. Now, before we get started with the presses, there's one really important thing to note with this. So if you take a look at the multi-block preview, it's like, oh, you need 79 imprecise casings. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of casings. But if you hold shift over the press multi-block, the minimum is actually 42. So in my case, I'm going to be using universal. So I really only need one input, one output. Same goes for fluids, you know? But because of the way that you can do that, I have crafted like 100 ULV input buses. We're going to just fill the casings with these that are never going to be used and are just only there because they're just absurdly cheaper than the than the imprecise casing. So that's the plan. That's probably what you're supposed to do, but I just thought it was really funny and also not intuitive that you're going to be doing that. Okay, I built my assemblers. We're going to start working on the universal setup now. I decided to do them both at the same time. And this is kind of comical, just how many input buses you can get away with on this thing. So I like it on the back like this, how you can see the input buses, but on the front, we'll keep it clean. There's also a bug where if you put, it looks like any machine cover on the press, it goes invisible. Yeah, sure. Okay, we're fine with that. So now I'm going to set up the universal setups for all these. It's going to be a little bit different than the LCRs because these buses are horizontal, not vertical. But I'm going to try to figure it out. And basically all the same ideas apply from these setups. So we're going to copy them over for the most part. Our universal setup is done for the presses. And the same idea goes on with the LCRs and this. So we have the item importer that's going to send the cell to the MEIO port. It's going to deposit the items. It deposits the fluids as items, which go to the fluid packet decoder, which is filtered over here. So fluid packet invalid. What's different about this is it has a sticky card. I don't 100% know why, but we're going to see if it works, but apparently that's needed, or at least helps to get your fluids to make sure they go to this fluid packet decoder. And then from there it goes to the bottom, which is the input hatch and the input bus. I used a single input hatch for now. I don't think there's any assembler recipes that need a quad hatch. There are precise assembler recipes that need quad hatches, but this is not what these are for, so I don't really see the point. It's an easy swap out if I need to do it, but make sure you change the mode here. If it's in precise mode, it's not going to work correctly. So now we're getting to the fun part. I got to set up my circuit wall. So a whole bunch of these circuits right now we have set up already, like a ton of ones. 24 is really popular. 3 and 4 are popular as well. But then, like, there's a whole bunch in the middle that don't have very much. So we're just gonna put the ones that we need down for now. And this is easily expandable, so we can keep going for the less common circuits, and we'll just keep going down and down. So let me add in a whole bunch of circuits. I also have this set up so I can put a ton of interfaces on all these. So like for circuit 1, let's set up like 5 of them right now or something, you know? And then we're gonna be good for a long time on these. And these all need to be set to blocking mode. And all these need advanced blocking cards, so don't forget about that. Then on the back over here, we are extracting on a blacklist just the 64K with only the program circuit in it. So if there's items in there, it takes it out. When it's freed up and just has a circuit again, it'll go back in. And then you can use your conduit probe to copy the settings over from... Once you do it one time, you don't got to do it again, basically. Then you just got to set the filters manually every time. And we're all set up now. So this is going to be so much faster than before. I may even want to multiply some patterns out at some point. I also need to audit these patterns because, like, all this stuff doesn't even need to be circuit 1. It's just, like, in here because it is. So what if I had, like, a null circuit set up again and move them over to there? But for now, we'll just make more room. Circuit 1's almost full, actually, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's likely that these need to be audited and put into a no particular circuit drive. Now my next task is upgrading my LCRs. These are all going to LuV. So I previously have not been really stressing out my power supply. I'm planning to get close to it now, so we may need to expand that very soon as well. But yeah, all 8 of these are going to LuV, which that'll make things run a lot faster. And I could also run some better recipes because there's been a bunch of recipes that I've annoyingly been locked out of. So we're going to just work towards getting all this set up properly, because the main recipe that I need is the UHPICs. Okay, LCRs are done now. Next time I do a big craft, I gotta watch the power usage of my base. If I have to upgrade my power, I can. But it'll be pretty easy to do because it's pretty modular. I'm still only on 4 nukes right now. I blew up 1 nuke actually the other day. I was trying to bring this one online and it exploded, which proved that my setup is sufficient to prevent the explosions. So if you want to have an idea of how to prevent your explosion from leaking, this is it right here. But when I build more cells, maybe I'll show exactly how I built that the next time. But I have room here for 8 of these, and then my plan is to start building down as well. And I could even fill the other side of the room with them as well. So I would probably go up to like 16 maybe, at the most. I would have to start upgrading this. I also need an alert system from this for the needs maintenance hatch, or needs maintenance cover to alert me when that needs maintenance, because that could cause my nukes to fail. And if I power fail my base, it's going to be really bad. Okay, now for my less technical people. We're about to turn the corner to something a little bit crazy that I've been working on. I spent a couple hours trying to build this setup. So this is a design that I've sort of interpreted. It was originally created by Ivy Lou, who I believe I've mentioned before, because she put a lot of effort into researching vacuum nuke controls. Not the nukes that I'm using right now, the SFM ones, but just in general. And I believe she's actually the inventor of the universal setup that I'm using right now with the I/O ports. But anyways, so what we have going on here, this looks pretty complicated. It was at first, but now I understand it. It's not that bad. This is basically just a more compact setup of what I have over here. So there's a subnet for every different machine type. We have the sifter, macerator, thermal centrifuge, washer, you get it. And each of these guys has their own sort of filter right here. Now, and what's different in this setup compared to my old one, there is a default route for all the ores, and we will only put pattern in to the storage buses the exceptions, which that is a huge boon because I'm so tired of specifying every single ore. So what we have going on here, for the default path, we're going to be receiving items into the sorting net. Now, you just saw it happen there. The sorting net is 264K ME storage cells, and these are cycling back and forth their items because of the I/O ports. So we can take a look at that real quick. Just want to prove that that works. So we have the items in here in one of the storage cells. And I don't have anything hooked up yet, so the items aren't going to go anywhere. But it's going to take that out and then flip-flop it to the other cell. So the way that it does that, let's take a look at the underneath, actually. So I have a timer. I have a way to turn off the timer as well, just a wireless receiver. But this timer is set to 5 seconds, and every 5 seconds it's going to pulse a extract that'll extract an empty cell out of here. Or it'll extract a full cell. It's a blacklist with an empty cell in it. And then we follow this. This goes up to over here. And this goes to the set of 2 I/O ports. Now, the cell with items in it gets sent into here. This gets transferred to the network, moved to output when work is done. So it'll go to the network. The network is only one other storage cell, so it'll always flip-flop them back and forth. And then this extracts from here, puts it into here, and then this just transfers data, whatever data it has to it, and it sends it back. So I might be able to get away with just one MEIO port with the way that I'm doing this. I don't know if the second one is necessary, but I will fine-tune it as I go on. But anyways, that's how that works. So the sorting net, we're just doing that flip-flop in order to foolproof this, so that if I have something that's not getting sorted or doesn't get sorted for some reason, it will reset every 5 seconds, reshuffle, and then it'll resort every five seconds. So once they're in the sorting network, on the top layer here, we have storage buses that are at -1 priority. This is the default path. So they're going to want to go from the raw ore form to the macerator. They come out as crushed ore. They go to the washer. They get washed. They go back to the macerator. They become pure dust. Then they go back to the centrifuge. And then they go outbound, maybe to the smelter, electrolyzer maybe. It kind of depends. So from there, the bottom tier is going to kick in. This is a higher priority bus. And these are going to be the manual filters that we set. So for the most part, unless we set a filter, things are going to go through this default path and out to the output. So if I want a dust to go to the electrolyzer, I will specify it in here. If I want the dust to go to the smelter, I'll specify it in here. So no matter what, everything's going to go back to our system unless we specify it. And I enjoy that. That's going to work out a lot better for me than what I was doing previously. For some things like sphalerite, if I get sphalerite in the sorting net, that has to instantly go to the outbound net. So I have 4 inputs to the outbound net here, which are different storage buses. This one is just for ingots, it looks like. And I'm going to have more storage buses down here for each different type of thing. Continuing upwards, I have a row of P2P inputs. These guys are not hooked up yet because I'm almost done setting this up, but not quite. These are going to be all linked together on the, like, it's sort of like the main subnet over here, the sorting net. And the sorting net, I have a branch off of the controller down here, which is going underneath. This is my light blue net. This is my P2P carrier cable. And it's going to come over to my ore processing room. So what's going to happen here is that each unit operation is going to have its own P2P output. That P2P output is what's going to send the items over. So I'll have a quad of pretty much all of these, or even like a little bit of an extra setup. Like for the ore washers, I'm going to have some additional filters to determine what fluid goes into it, but that's not important. But each is going to have basically like a whole, like an array of machines, all with these new advanced stocking input buses that I have. So I've unlocked these recently because I have Indalloy, I have the LuV stuff, assembly line, and we finally unlocked these, and these are going to unlock crazy good ore processing for us. So what I have to do now is dismantle all of this and make it different in a way where it's easily expandable using these stocking input buses. I just want to reiterate, I did not completely come up with this design on my own. This was made by IvyLu. I saw a single screenshot of it with some like pointers around it and what was going on, and I kind of built it my own way afterwards. It's pretty much copied, but you know, I had to interpret it a little bit. So hopefully it works correctly. If it doesn't work correctly, it's my fault or your fault if you decide to copy it from me. And I'll link the screenshot that I looked at in the description. But now I'm going to start upgrading my ore processing. Here's phase 1 of my ore processing upgrade. So I upgraded the stuff that I use the most often, and I'll probably upgrade it even more. So the centrifuges, the wash plants, and the macerators. This is a quad macerator now. And all these things are upgraded by a lot, mostly because of the advanced stocking input buses. And then I also upgraded the tier to IV from EV. It's a pretty easy upgrade to LuV once I get a bit more power, but I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I would rather save my power for my processing stuff over there at the moment. But we have that option available to us whenever we want to. It's just an energy hatch swap out, and I replaced 2 cables, so that'd be super easy to do. All right, I got this all working perfectly. So let's throw something really safe in here. Like, I don't know, let's throw an impure, and then we'll throw gold in here. So these both go into the sorting net. They instantly disappear because they go where they have to go. But once items hit the sorting net, yeah, okay. Once items hit the sorting net, they're going to go where they need to go. So the priorities that I have set here, on the bottom, it's priority 0. That is the filters that are specific. In the middle, it's -1. That is the general path. And then on the output net, on the outbound net, it's -2. So I was seeing that if that was -1, like I had it before, it was sometimes prioritizing this even for stuff that shouldn't go there. So I was seeing like impure dust going into the outbound net. I don't know why. Because the filter, I believe, is set up correctly based on everything I've read. It should not be possible to do that. But because of the way things were set up, it was somehow doing that. But yeah, with the -2 priority, it stopped doing that. And then these items chill out here in the outbound net until this timer ticks, where a cell that has items in it will be pulled out of this drive, put into the I/O port, and then returned immediately. So that's how we're doing that. So the reason I'm doing that is because I could just shove stuff into an interface to my mainnet, but then my mainnet might jump around a bunch. Like if I have a bunch of items going in and out all the time, it's just going to bounce around. I don't like that. So we're going to be doing controlled dumps to the mainnet every once in a while. And if it can't send those items or the mainnet's full, they'll just come back to the drive over here. So there's nothing lost. And around the back here, don't forget, I have ME drives, and these all have 16Ks in them right now. This could be expanded to like 64Ks or even a full drive if you're experiencing some backlogs. I'm not at the moment, but I could easily fill it with 16Ks, and they cost me basically nothing. Even 64Ks, they just take time. So this blue net, the light blue net, is the carrier net for the storage, not the storage, the sorting net. That's what it's called. My bad. And this guy's hooked up to both the outputs, and it's connected to the P2Ps that bring every different subnet with its items to the advanced stocking input bus. Then you just click this, and once items are inside of the drives, they'll get put in the machines automatically. So yeah, this is working really well so far. Very easily expandable. I need to finish up the chem baths, and then everything is completed. Because of the way that this works, I can just drop my old storage cells in here as well, into the sorting net, and then these will automatically be shuffled throughout, and we'll sort the items where they have to go. Now, I verified a lot of my filters from before. I didn't do all of it because, like, that's kind of a lot of work. So we're going to just let it go. We're going to let it ride, and we're going to see how it goes. The other good thing, while adding new things to the net, I can actually disable the outbound net with a lever here in the timer. Therefore, it will not pull these cells out to deposit them anymore. And I can audit the things that come into here. If I don't like what's coming into here, I could just instantly take it out, filter it, and then I'll swap these two cells with two empty cells from in here. And then it'll be perfect. All right, I think that's a good stopping point for today. I got to spend some time filtering ores out and catch up in the backlog, but we're already making great progress towards it, so overnight that'll do a lot of work. My main net's going to start running out of storage. We got to upgrade that, like, massively soon. And then I got to decide how I'm going to do this. I might not use these unit operations for mainnet autocrafting anymore. That's what I'm getting at. I previously had all these tie-ins to the mainnet on this, and, like, it was kind of annoying. So I think I'm going to rebuild. These are cheap to make now. We're going to make new ones over in the machine area and start using those instead. And leave the ore processing to the ore processing area. I think that's a good idea. So yeah, next time we'll fix that. Overnight, we're going to let this run. I'm going to have a lot more resources, and then we'll be chilling. So next time, maybe it'll be a blood magic day. Who knows? I may want to do more infrastructure for a bit, because there's one more thing that I want to do, which is a fluid solidifier of the maximum size. Potentially 2 of them. And they're kind of large, as you can see. And also, we want to run this in Universal as well. So that'll be a fun time to set up. We'll bust this wall down and keep going out this way with more Universal setups, because this is OP. And I think the fluid solidifier is going to be really, really good. Then we can upgrade our fluid extractor quite a bit as well. Maybe get a second one. Who knows? We'll see what we do. Until then, guys, thank you all for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good day.